Errors were made in the hours following King Viserys' death.
The war will be fought. Many will die, and the victor will eventually ascend the throne. There's a war between kin. There is no war so hateful to the gods. And no war so bloody as a war between dragons.
What's up everybody, Carmine here, and it's that time of the year again where we get brand new footage and the mad dash for breakdown videos flood the website on what's happening in the new House of the Dragon teaser. Keep in mind that this is just the teaser trailer and not the full one, which means we're likely getting that a little later on, possibly another small one to hype up HBO's lineup for 2024, but for the most part this serves to hype up what we can expect from the new season going forward. If you're watching this, big thank you for being here, and as always, leave a like and a comment as it helps out the channel, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, but for now, let's get into it. So the first thing we see here in the trailer is Rhaenyra overlooking Storm's End. As you'll recall, last season, this is where she sent her son Luke in the finale, and around the coast of Storm's End is where Aemon kills Luke and his dragon. Clearly, she's been here looking for what remains of her son's body and that of his dragon. Scenes like this are really going to test how great of an actor Emma Darcy is, and I have absolute confidence they can nail it. In the next few shots, we get several characters preparing for war. First, we start with King Aegon walking towards his throne, while Daemon prepares for battle in his full suit of armor. We were supposed to get a shot like this of Daemon in his armor in Season 1, but it was cut out completely. Next up, we get a brief shot of a soldier, not in traditional Targaryen armor that we saw in Season 1, holding a traditional Targaryen banner in what appears to be the Vale. This is important because in the Civil War we'll be seeing in Season 2, Rhaenyra's faction will be using the traditional Targaryen sigil, which is a red dragon on a black field, while Aegon will be using the gold dragon. The Vale is also important because this is where Jane Arryn, who is kin to Rhaenyra, is currently ruling, and in the books, House Arryn are one of the biggest supporters of Rhaenyra's faction. We also see House Hightower soldiers marching off to war, and I gotta say, I really appreciate the unique set of armor these guys get. Once again, I'm a big fan of that, and it's so nice to see they're bringing that back from Game of Thrones, where every house gets their unique set of armor. We also get houses Stokeworth and Rosby also getting ready for battle. Once again, in the books, both of these houses swear allegiance to Rhaenyra, but once they are threatened with death, they switch on over to Aegon's side. I appreciate showrunner Ryan Condal giving these houses representations instead of making them all come from the same place, kind of like they did with the Greyjoys in Game of Thrones. Not only does this show his dedication as a fan of the books, but also shows that this country contains more than a few dozen houses. We also get a brief glimpse of Criston Cole, who, for whatever reason, looks way older here than he did after that 10-year time skip last season. Criston is beheading some lord, and you can see here around his neck that he's been elevated to Hand of the King position like he is in the books, so it's possible this scene here takes place way later in the season. After a few shots of our main characters talking about war, we get a shot of a brand new character, though it's tough to say if this is a man or a woman, but it's most likely one of the new characters we'll be seeing in Season 2 who'll be taking the role of Dragon Rider. And based off the color of the wings here, it looks like the dragon Seasmoke, which belonged to Laenor. If you'll recall, last season Laenor faked his death and fled overseas, so it's possible this character here, whoever they are, will be trying to claim Seasmoke now that his rider is gone. After more shots of soldiers and war councils, we see Daemon here about to behead someone, and it looks like there's a weirwood tree in behind him. People speculate that Daemon is back in the Red Keep over in King's Landing, where we saw Rhaenyra and Alicent hanging out as teenagers. But it's also possible that this is another weirwood tree somewhere in the Riverlands, as the show has established that there are weirwood trees beyond the north, and we also know that Daemon will be in the area. After some cool shots of Aemon and the Iron Throne, we see quite an interesting scene here of what looks like the Night's Watch members leading men in a snowy area. It's been somewhat confirmed that Jace, Rhaenyra's other son, may be heading towards the Wall for whatever reason. Some people speculate that the show will try to shove in some White Walker plot, but we'll have to see. Next up, we get a badass shot of Rhaenyra staring down someone on a beach who also has a dragon. Now, it's tough to say who this could be, and I've seen a few of you guys speculate on this being one of the new characters swearing loyalty to her, or maybe Helaena has come to treat with her, or possibly a ritual dragon riders do before dueling on their dragons. I've seen many different explanations and speculations for this part in particular, so definitely let me know what you guys think. And speaking of Helaena, we get a nice shot of her here in mourning. I say this because she appears to be in all black and has a veil over her head. I initially thought that these were scars she received, and it still could be, but it's most likely a veil covering her face, and we can also see briefly embers burning past her, which means a funeral pyre is happening here. Next up, we get some shots of soldiers riding through a battlefield and a dragon being deployed against them, and Rhaenys, as always, coming in to tell us that there is no bloodier war than one between dragons. Hopefully we get to see her doing more in the new season than giving us lines that were specifically written to be in trailers, because that was mostly her function last season, but we'll just have to see. Immediately after that, we get chaos with Baela riding into battle and riots in the street of King's Landing. At one point, someone grabs Alicent during all this rioting, which leads me to believe that either the people are unhappy with how things are going, or that Rhaenyra's group is stirring up trouble in the city to cause these revolts. Before the end of the teaser, we get quick shots of a member of House Bracken drawing their sword, and as you recall, House Bracken was in Season 1, Episode 4, where one of their members was killed when trying to win over Rhaenyra's hand in marriage by a member of House Blackwood. There's a huge feud between the two houses. It's a big thing. We'll have to discuss it later. We also see Helaena here being attacked by an unknown man. It's been confirmed that we will be getting a scene in which assassins are hired to attack the Greens in the Red Keep, and this is likely what's happening here. Could also be why we saw her in mourning earlier in the video. By the way, for book readers who are confused, yes, I'm being vague on purpose, not to spoil things for people who haven't read them. And finally, after some quick shots of several characters engaging in battles, we see a nice fake out of what looks like Aemon and Rhaenyra getting ready for a dragon fight, with a very cool shot of Vhagar flying over a bunch of soldiers to close us out. Overall, the trailer was really cool, and it definitely captures what Season 2 will bring us, the Dance of the Dragons. It's not Game of Thrones without a battle for the Iron Throne with some inner politics thrown in there. However, I do know for a fact that a lot of you didn't get what you wanted out of this teaser, and I know this because I asked you guys a while ago in a poll on my channel what you were most excited for. More than 7,000 of you voted, and 50% of you wanted to see House Stark, and well, we didn't get that. 25% of you wanted to see new dragons, and we kind of didn't get that either. We may have seen one new character, but it could have been a background extra because we didn't really get a good shot of them, so yeah, for the most part, we didn't really get much in the way of anything new, but it was nice to see that not only is House of the Dragon coming back in force, but it's also ramping up everything to the extreme, and yeah, I'm all here for it. But as always, let me know what you guys thought of the trailer, and let me know if there's anything in there I might have missed, because, of course, there are no detectives on Earth better than Ice and Fire fans who are super sleuthing their way through every frame to see what they can find. Leave your thoughts down below, be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Have a good one.